Hello, Valencia students. I'm Chris Vanderkay, tutor at large here on the virtual setup that we're doing now. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on hyphens because it's something that people either get wrong a lot or ask about a lot. And so I thought we'd just do a quick video that walked you through the most common uses for hyphens and the ones that you're probably forgetting so that it's easier to keep track of. So if you see on the screen here, hyphens, this is what they are. I know it's confusing because sometimes you hear them called a dash. When it's called a dash, it's for a completely different usage. We'll do a different video on that. We're now just talking about this used as a hyphen. And the definition is right here. A hyphen joins two or more words together. So why would you need to do that, right? That's the first question. Why are we sticking two words together? Well, the explanation for that is because it's when two words are acting as a single meaning that they get put together. Meaning that if those two words are separated, they don't mean the same thing as when they're brought together. And so the hyphen is designed to combine them so that everyone reading the sentence understands those two words are combined together. Now, the easiest example of that, the first and most common usage, is numbers and fractions. Right? And those are important because you see here, if you're just saying the word 20, there's no second word that needs to go along with it, right? But when you're saying a number like 22 or 95, you're putting the hyphen in there to show that these two numbers are combined in the same way that you would write it like that, right? That it's clear that it's 22, but without a hyphen, it might look like you're saying that, 22, right? So you're putting that hyphen in there to show that this is combined into a single idea. Two words equals one single idea or one single meaning. So that's why you do that there. Same with 95. And then the same is true for fractions, right? If you have a whole number, 1, you don't need any hyphens. But if you're dealing with 1/3 of something, you want to make sure that there's a hyphen in between to show that it actually means this, right? Because otherwise it could mean 1 and then the word third, right? So it could be two separate things. That hyphen reminds the reader that those are combined things working together to make a single definition. So that's the first and probably most common place that you'll run into it. But there is another place in which it crops up frequently, the need for it, but people often forget to use it this way. And that is combining multiple words that have a single meaning. In the same way that we were putting 20 and 2 together because they mean a single thing, same thing is happening here. When you're using something as an adjective, but two words are needed to describe what the adjective is. Let's look at this one as an example. An ivory-handled pistol, right? So the pistol is the noun here. We're describing it with the adjective ivory-handled. The reason we need that hyphen is because neither one of these words by itself describes exactly what it is that we're getting at, right? If I get rid of ivory here, a handled pistol, that still means something, but it doesn't mean what you were getting at, right? So it doesn't work by itself. Neither does if we get rid of this, right? If we have an ivory pistol, that doesn't make sense because the pistol is not made entirely of ivory, right? Only part of it is. So you have to have that other piece of the single definition in order for it to make sense. So you put that hyphen there to show it may be two words, but it's actually a single concept. It's a single idea. Same goes for all of these, right? Gold-plated watch or a loyalty-based rewards program. Whenever you're using two words to mean a single thing, you combine those two words with that hyphen, and that tells your reader this is a whole idea by itself. It is not two separate ideas. Now, having said that, it's important to remember you can have sentences with two adjectives and you do not combine them with a hyphen because they're saying separate things. So you don't always want to use a hyphen. These are examples here. You don't use hyphens when there are two words that do not have a single meaning, right? When you say the phrase angry young man, these are both things that can be separately true. This man is young and this man is angry, right? So since these are separate definitions that both apply to the noun, you don't put a hyphen in between because angry young is not an idea, right? There's no such thing as an angry young. Same here for fresh seasonal vegetables, right? Those are both true. The vegetables are seasonal and they are also fresh because they don't always have to be fresh and seasonal at the same time. There could be frozen seasonal vegetables, right? So these two are separate definitions, right? Separate things that are both altering the single noun, vegetables. And because of that, you do not put a hyphen between them because they're not acting as a single idea. And then the last thing to note, also, don't use the hyphens if the adjective comes after the noun. That seems confusing, but here, remember we had ivory-handled pistol? Ivory-handled is hyphened before the noun. However, when you move it after the noun, See how here, this is incorrect. You don't want to keep that hyphen in there because it's not acting as two single words in front of the pistol anymore. Because you've added the idea here of its state of being, is, was, be, right? Then you revert it back to just ivory handled without a hyphen. And it's because it's not coming before the noun, and therefore it doesn't have to act as a single combined adjective in the same way because of the addition of this word in between, right? So if you're using it before the noun, you put the hyphen in. If you've moved it after the noun, you leave the hyphen out. So actually a good trick for this is if you're actually not sure, if you have a phrase like up here, you said, an easy way to figure this out, right? Angry young man. Do I need a hyphen? Well, can I move that to the end? And the man was angry and young. See how I had to put an and in there? I don't have to put an and here. Ivory handled, right? I wouldn't say the pistol was ivory and handled, right? I do have to say the vegetables were fresh and seasonal, right? So having to add an and in there means they're clearly not being combined into a single meaning. So sometimes you can use this as a workaround to figure out which way you should actually do it, whether you need a hyphen or you don't. So those are the basics for what you want to do when you're talking about hyphens. And really the only times it comes up are, like I said, the first one with numbers and fractions. And then the second one is if you have a noun, if you're describing it, just look before the noun or after the noun and see how many adjectives you have. If there are two words that are acting as a single adjective together, you add that hyphen. And that is about it. That's pretty much the breakdown of it.